Hey, hi. Oh, you're wondering what I'm doing? Well, I just decided that I needed to be taller. So I am trying to stretch my head and my neck. I would like to be 6 foot, and I'm only like 5'8.5". So I want to be taller. It doesn't seem to be working because I'm not feeling any taller. The only thing I'm doing is really hurting my jaw and squeezing my ears. Oh, I got it. I have this tall hat with all my different hats. This is one of the tallest hats that I have. So if I put it on, there we go. Maybe I'll be taller. Am I taller? No. I just have a tall hat on. Okay, so I'm not really taller because I can't see any further. So can we make ourselves taller? Can I make myself be taller? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's sort of like this ruler here. This ruler is a foot long, right? 12 inches. Can I stretch this ruler? Can I make it 13 inches? No, I cannot change this ruler's length. It's always going to be 12 inches. The only change that I really could make, I guess, is cut it, and then it would be 11 inches or 10 inches. It'd be shorter. But there's no way that I can stretch this ruler and make it taller. It's going to be 12 inches. So you're asking me, why do I want to be taller? Well, maybe I want to see more, or see farther, or see above, or see beyond other people. Maybe I want to stand out. Maybe I want to help my body mass index. Yeah, being taller, adding inches to my height would really help that. Let's see. Yeah. Did you ever hear the phrase to be a head above the rest, or to be head and shoulders above the rest, or head and shoulders above others? What does it mean? Well, the phrase simply means to be better than the others. If you are head and shoulders above the rest or head and shoulders above the others, you are better. We could use it in this phrase. I think that John should definitely get that job. He's head and shoulders above all the other applicants. Or, for example, in the world of newspaper publishing, there is one newspaper that stands head and shoulders above the rest. You may have heard somebody speak of that phrase. Well, granted, yes, there may always be someone that can do a better job at a task than me or you, or at times I or you may be able to do a better job at something than someone else. However, to constantly compare ourselves all the time with others can be an unhealthy practice because each of us are different. So when someone tells me that so and so is head and shoulders above the rest, I want to be careful in how I respond and not think less of myself or of others who may not be able to do the task or the job as well as the person being referred to. You know, I tried to stretch this ruler a little bit, and it reminds me of another ruler, the story of King Saul in the Old Testament. Yes, the ruler whose name was King Saul. And we read about King Saul in the Old Testament book of 1 Samuel. And we find out that King Saul was tall. Tall King Saul. Actually, when the prophet Samuel was looking for the first king of Israel, we read in 1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 2, that Samuel went to a man by the name of Kish. And it says this: Kish had a son named Saul. Saul was a handsome young man. He was more handsome than anyone in Israel, and he was a head taller than anyone else. Well, the story goes on that Saul was named the first king of Israel. He was appointed the first king. And it seems that he was fairly popular with the people because he was handsome and because he was taller than anyone else. So it seemed that he would be a good leader. Well, over time, it became very clear that Saul was not the best king for Israel. Saul's heart was not always with God. And so Samuel was instructed to begin to search for a new king, for a replacement for King Saul. And God directed the prophet Samuel to visit a man named Jesse and to meet Jesse's sons. And you can read about this in 1 Samuel 16. Samuel was impressed with one of the sons he first met because he was tall, just like King Saul. I suppose Samuel may have thought that being tall and handsome was a sign of being a good leader, or meant being important. However, God had another plan, and God said this to Samuel in 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. The Lord said to Samuel, "Do not consider how handsome or tall he is. I have not chosen him." The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outside of a person, but the Lord looks at what is in the heart. So Samuel went on to meet the rest of Jesse's sons, and it was when he met the youngest son, who was not as tall as the rest and not as handsome or as strong as the rest, that God said, "This is the one." And that one's name was David. Yes, little David, who became King David. So what we see in this story is that God is not at all concerned with how tall a person is. God rather looks at the heart, not the physical attributes of a person. So we really don't need to compare ourselves to someone who others say stands head and shoulders above the rest, especially if that person is taller than me or you. Remember that God made you you. God made me me. So it's not worth it for me to try to make myself taller. I just need to be sure that my heart is thankful to God and that my heart is willing to serve, because God is more concerned with what my heart looks like than how tall I am. And I believe it's the same for you. So today, I want you to be you, not to compare yourself with someone who may be head and shoulders above the rest, but to remember that God does love you for you, and he wants your heart to be in tune with his. So have a day filled with joy, no matter how tall or short you are, and also have a day filled with peace.